Shalom. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem B'Kakwadash. Double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And peace and salutations to the hopeful elect of Israel that are scattered abroad. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem B'Kakwadash. I just, quick impromptu. I was thinking about a few things. Just on the trail, trying to get my steps in there. You know, it's freaking like 90-something degrees. So I'm in the woods where the shade is. But have you ever noticed? You noticed that like people, like especially Jake, you know, our people, you know, people never really mature past the age of like 15 or 16. You know, they never really mature past that age, and you know they can be a whole 50-year-old man, and but their mind is like a 16-year-old. You know, their mind is like a 16-year-old. They're still young in the mind. You know, our women, they never grow past 16, really, man. They'd be a whole 40-year-old woman, but she's still hanging out with little kids, you know, little 20-year-olds and stuff, you know, which are not kids, but, you know, you 40 years old, man. You know, hanging out with them at their parties and shit. That's not good. And the men, you know, be a whole 40-year-old man, sagging his pants, still going out to the bars and hanging out, partying all the time. Okay, you gotta leave that to those young people, man. You know? I don't know, just something that I've been thinking about. You know, like our people and everybody, not just, I gotta take that back. It's not just Jake. Everybody, all these people. You know? I don't hang around Arabs or anything else too much. I'm just talking about pretty much white folks and black folks that I know. They never really grow past like the age of like 16 in their minds. And we're just so lucky to have this truth that, you know, we can, you know, teach you how to be a man, how to be a good woman, how to be respectful, how to grow, how to cherish, you know, how to cherish, you know, each other, and how to move in society, man. You know, how to deal with situations. You know, because when you come into this truth, really, you know, it teaches you how to be a man. It teaches you how to be a man, you know. It teaches you how to be a man or a woman. It teaches you skills that, you know, this world pretty much, this world is can't teach you. You know, because this world is wicked, you know. So I was just thinking about that. I had that in my mind for some reason last few days, because I just see people and I see their actions and see, you know, even you know, myself, before I come into this truth, you know, looking back on it and stuff, like I was being childish, man. You know, it's just not good. It's just not good at all, man. You know, just reflecting on things, basically, just on this walk. And you know, people are in a childlike state, pretty much. Like, that's why we need mercy, you know, because, you know, we really ain't hitting on nothing, man. You know, people are proud. People still playing, thinking everything a joke. You got the LA riots going down, but everybody want to play, you know, and that LA riot is going to spread across the nation. You know, Jacob's trouble is looming in the background. Everybody can feel it. Everybody's already financially unstable. Everybody's already walking on pins and needles. You can feel people's spirits by the way they drive. You can feel how angry they are. It's too much anger, man. It's very heavy. You know, you damn near, you got to watch out for everything. You got to watch out for what you say. You got to watch out for how, you know, how many people are, like, you know, around, you know, like, because, you know, the more people, yeah, you got to stay out of crowded areas, man. Out of the clubs, out of all that stuff, man. You know, it's good to have some fun every once in a while. But, you know, sometimes, well, in this time right now, it just feels like, you know, none of that stuff really, none of that's going to work for you, man, you know, because you can party as much as you want, and you try to drink and forget about things and everything, but, you know, you still got to wake up in the morning and go to work, be circumspect. You got to watch out, you know, for these crazy drivers, for these crazy people. You gotta keep your head on the swivel, man, because everybody's in a mood, man. You know, you try to be nice to somebody. You know, you try to be nice and shit. They don't want you to be nice. They, you know, they already ready to rip your head off. You trying to help them out. No, I don't need no help. You try to hold the door for somebody. No, I don't want you to hold the door. That's just how it feels. Maybe they won't say that, but it's like, you know, they're like mad at you for holding the door for them or something, man. Everybody's so pissed off. And that's what the Lord said was going to happen, man. Hey, what does it say? Isaiah 19, Lord have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, man. There's a heavy, perverse spirit on this place, America. You know, people are literally on the edge, ready to blow like a damn, you know, like a, you know, like water pressure in a pipe or something, you know, ready to blow, ready to go, man, you know, and it's not good. Hello. Don't want you getting notified. Yeah. People are on the edge, man. That's why I made that last video. You know, trying to be positive, you know, because we got promises, you know, we still got promises to look forward to, man. We got the kingdom coming, our Lord. You know, we got so much stuff to be happy about, man, but it's just hard to be happy in this society, man, because, you know, you going through hell, man, you know, you brothers and you few sisters out there, you're going through hell because this world is given to the hand of the wicked, man, and the wicked run this place. So, you know, you know, like people, you know, when you come to serve the Lord, that's what the scriptures say, prepare thy soul for temptation, because whenever you come to serve the Lord, then all them demons, they scopeo you now. They want to get you now. Sleep paralysis, you can't even sleep, dealing with demons, you know, apparitions and shit. you know. But if you're not serving the Lord, then you ain't got to deal with that kind of stuff. It reminds me of something that my what the heck is that? Somebody dropped some glass out here, and now dogs are walking over it. I'm gonna sweep that up. But somebody told me, you know, somebody close to me, you know, one of my family members. It was one time whenever I was having really bad sleep paralysis, dealing with demons and shit. And you know, I always pray, you know, and then they go away, you know, call on the name of Yahweh Bashmi El Shai. But they told me, you know, whenever I was asking, do you have sleep paralysis? And like, I used to. And he started putting it together. He was like, man, well, whenever I was having sleep paralysis, I was reading the Bible. I was trying to get closer to the Lord. And he said, but whenever I stopped, because, you know, something must have happened. I don't know what happened, but, you know, it's a lot of people in this world that blame the Most High Yahweh Bashmi El Shai for certain things that happen to them in their lives. They blame the Lord, and, you know, it is what it is. They blame the Lord, and, you know, they don't want to hear nothing about the Lord dealing with you. So the Lord made this person say that, you know, like, well, ever since I stopped following the Lord, then I don't have sleep paralysis anymore. And then they were putting it together, and I was like, damn, that's crazy. And I was telling them, I was like, well, that's because you're in the world now. You're a part of this hellhole, you know? And the more I think about that, you know, it's like, you see, people who don't serve the Lord, they don't have to deal with those things that we got to deal with. And they're cool with that, because it's scary to them. It's they would rather not, you know, force their minds to think about other stuff whenever, you know, the topic of the Lord come up. And you know, the individual was putting it all together and was thinking hard on it. It's like, as I was speaking, like letting them know, you know, like when you come to serve the Lord, hey, all types of things are going to start happening to you, you know, because you're leaving this world behind. You're not a part of this anymore, you know. That's why those things don't happen to you as much as they happen to individuals that are actually trying to get right with the Lord. It doesn't happen to them like that, you know. They ain't got to be up in the middle of the night, you know. They ain't got to have to deal with none of that, because they're not serving the Lord, you know. So just wanted to speak about that, you know. And people are cool with that, you know. They're cool with not serving the Lord so they can get by. They like, believe me when I say it, people notice that, you know, it's almost like they're comfortable, they're happy that you know, because, you know, it feel like they've been tormented because they don't have any faith. They don't understand what's going on. They don't know the scriptures. People are happy with not serving the Lord, not even trying, you know. And that's because they're not of the elect. They're not of the Lord. Scripture say, you of your father the devil, right? So that's how a lot of folks are, man. They would rather not. They'd rather not serve the Lord. It's too hard for them, you know. Just a quick walk and talk. Um, Lord willing, I can stop somewhere and get a few scriptures. But I just wanted to share that with you. You know, people are not mature. They don't even see what's right in front of them, man. You know, the Lord can be here and he can be right there in front of them, but they wouldn't even recognize him. That's how you know this is that same generation, you know. It's the same generation of people. Are you keeping straight? You keeping straight?
Yeah, I'm trying to go that way.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't want...
Trying to go through that corner there.
Oh, okay.
And cross the big end and then
I'll speed up then.
jump back over there where he wants to lay down.
Yeah. Yeah. So, people were happy with not serving the Lord Yahweh Shemi Shai. They happy with that, man. And I had to learn it that you can't really do that because, you know, you can't really, you can't really, like you had to make a choice. Choices had to be made. What, like in the book of Joshua, it said, choose you this day whom you will serve. People are making their choices, man. You know, and they don't want nothing to do with the Lord. They don't want nothing to do with this gospel. And that's okay. That's okay. Because, you know, the more you grow in this truth, the more you realize that really sometimes it ain't nothing you can do about it. I remember when I was first coming in, I used to, you know, I was separating myself, like, you know, and, you know, isolating myself and, you know, burning bridges because I just didn't understand yet. And, you know, you really don't understand until you know, you have to grow and develop in the truth. Like when you first come in, you ready to tell everybody, you forcing them, they're almost like, yo, man, whoop de whoop, you know, this, that, and the other. You telling them about the scriptures and stuff, but they don't want to hear it, and it vexates your spirit. But as you grow, you understand that they're not. It's just not for them. You know, there's an individual that is a friend of the family, and he's really in Christianity. He calls himself an evangelist because he just, you know, he goes around and talks to people about the Lord, and you know, he be in the scriptures, but he doesn't. He's immature, and I you know, he's getting complaints, you know, from his family members and his kids, and you know, they want him out of the house pretty much. They don't want him there no more because, you know, he's taking it, you know, he's taking it really far, you know, because, you know, he's just a jit. He's just a little one in the truth, and he doesn't know yet. And I noticed that, and he was trying to talk. He knows that I go preach. He was trying to talk to me like, you know, can I come preach with you or whatever, this, that, and the other. I'm like, yeah. I mean, you're gonna have to learn first. You're gonna have to, you know, maybe I'll teach you a few things first. He's like, no. He's like, yeah, I mean, that's cool, but, you know, I'm a big dog too. That's his exact word. I'm a big dog too. That's what he said. I'm like, all right, man. All right, man. You know, like, you want to call on Jesus, but that's not his name. I told you his name. Look at that cardinal. Angels, man. Angels around. But he's like, I'm a big dog. You know, I can talk to the people too, pretty much, but I'm sending him videos of what we do and stuff. And he's like, no. He's like, no. Like, that's too hateful. You know, he wasn't down with all that. He was like, I believe all people can be saved and all. You know, and I'm like, well, you got a lot of learning to do, buddy. You know, you got a lot of learning to do before you come and preach with me. But I'm thankful that, you know, because you know how it is. Because you know, I'm thankful that the Lord took me through that to see that in him, and I see him, and he's completely disturbed, man, because he really don't have any understanding as to what's really going on, man. You know, he just, you know, he gets excited about the scriptures and that because he has that zeal, but not according to knowledge, you know. And that's okay, because he's gonna have to learn. And right now he's going through that trial. You know, family don't want him there. Everybody's murmuring and talking about him behind his back. And you know, that's pretty much that's what it's gonna be like, man. You know, I remember when I first came in, I started trying to, you know, I feel like I was, you know, like I'd want to tell them about the scriptures and stuff, and they didn't want to know about it. So I'd read certain scriptures like separate yourself and from this people, and you know, things like that, you know. And so I was literally just separating myself, like not answering the phone and all types of stuff, like, because I was young and I didn't know and I didn't understand. And now that I'm pretty much almost 6 years in, now I finally understand. It's not about it's you know, like I didn't have to literally, you know, like force people away, okay, that I might need later on, man, because the Lord can use people to do certain things in your life, you know. And you know, you gotta grow in this thing and to understand what's really going on, to what the scriptures really are meaning, because the scripture don't, you know, it says certain things, but you know, it could mean a plethora of things. It's up to the Lord to give you the spirit to understand what's really going on, man. So going back to the individual, you know, I had a long talk with him. The other day, and he was telling me about, you know, pretty much his zeal, how things were happening in his life. He was telling me about all that stuff, you know. And I was telling him that you got a lot of growing to do, man. You know, pretty much, like, you know, you got a lot of growing to do. You got to learn the Lord's name. You got to learn the Lord's name. You got to learn how to be, you know, aware of the prophecies. You got to learn the prophecies. You got to learn what the Lord, you know, the Lord said, okay, you know, he come to fulfill the law, not to destroy it, you know. And, you know, you got to learn a bunch of stuff. You got to learn so much stuff. And, you know, I'm still learning, but I can just tell he was just so in his zeal that, you know, he didn't even, you know, he didn't want to be an underling under me. He wants to be his own. So I had to leave him alone, you know. I just let him know, like, man, just, you know, if you want me to teach you, I will. But, you know, right now you got some learning to do. You're going to have to grow up a little bit and keep on reading, man. And then later on, get at me if you want. But you already know what I do. You know who I call on. And I'm not counting on him to, you know, because he's probably fully persuaded to follow that direction. And that's okay, you know, that's okay. Because we got to keep moving forward. We can't be, you know, pity-patty and try to, you know, I gave you the blueprint, man. But I really do hope that, you know, like there's a few people in my family that I hope, see, they got the zeal, but they don't really know according to knowledge, you know. And I hope that they do one day, but that's not up to me. I can't feel no way about it, get mad about it, or anything like that. So you really can't feel no way about it. It's all good. It's all good. Like I said in the beginning of this video, you know, people never really grow past the age of 15 and 16, man. You know, they be a whole 30, 40-year-old man or woman, but, you know, they're of this world, so they ain't gonna grow unless they release this world, unless they separate themselves mentally, you know, mentally first. And if you have to separate physically, do so. You know, one thing about it, you don't want to be around everybody partying all the time and nigga shit, doing all types of nigga shit all the time like you was in the world. You just gotta know how to maneuver around people, man. You know, you don't want to be in that situation to where it's you know, you're, I don't know, just being a damn demon. You want to go by or? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'll go on this side.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh man, I probably.
It's just fine. Be careful.
There's some poison ivy over here, I thought. I hope not. I probably. You too. And people's dogs, man. You can't trust these damn dogs lately, man. You can't trust these people with dogs because they just be letting them out, letting them do anything. You know, act like they can hold the dog. Dog get loose, and then you have to, you know, either kick the shit out of them or whatever, man. I ain't running from nothing, though. I can't run. I ain't running nowhere. Dog gonna have to get beat up or something. But anyway, man, you know, going back to that story, you know, he don't understand, and the other one don't understand, you know. They don't understand what's going on in the world, man. They're not even worried about it. You know, people at my job, you know, sometimes, you know, you sit at lunch, I was wanting to talk about the riots the other day, and, you know, hoping that somebody would want to talk about it because, you know, our mind is on prophecy, man. You know, we be wanting to talk about prophecy, man. That's all. I find myself, that's all I want to talk about, you know. And that's another thing I'm learning because I'm growing, that, you know, you know, not everybody wants to get in that, you know, they don't want to feel like all hope is lost. They don't want to talk about stuff like that all the time. But they think about it in the back of their minds, though. They know something's going on, but they just don't want to deal with that, you know. They don't want to be a part of that feeling of, you know, preparation for the coming events. They don't want to feel like that. And when you talk about it, then they're like, man, I don't want to talk about that. You know, that's, you know, it's like, well, shit, I don't want to talk to you either, then, you know. But you can't be like that either, you know. And this Bible teaches you ways to remove a certain conduct, a certain vibration that you carry with yourself. And it's erratic whenever you first come in and you're just like, you know, unstable, and you just, you know, probably yelling at people, cursing them out. But over time, you learn because you learn more of the book. It's all about eating the whole roll, man. If you understand that, then you'll understand how the world works, how things work, how the Lord is working, the things that He's